Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Vita Loves Cake. Today we are gonna do a Kaneki makeup from Tokyo Ghoul. So first we're gonna start off with our Makeup Forever primer. This is my hydrating base primer for my dry skin. We used this in our last video. And then we're gonna use this white eyeliner from NYX, and I'm just gonna use this to outline the areas where I'm gonna do Kaneki's face mask. And so I just based it off a picture here, and we're just gonna outline it. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna go over it with black a little later on. So just make the outlines, do your little detail work. It doesn't have to be too detailed, but it helps to figure out so you know where things go. Alright, outline work out of the way, we're gonna move on to coloring it. These are my little pans from my Wolfe Effects collection that I used in my last video, and now we're gonna just go over that outline. Here, what I like to do is outline it first and then color it in. I think it's easier that way, but you could do whatever method you so choose, whatever is easier for you guys. Here we don't have to worry too much about the detail because we are just gonna fill it in. But I like to just do a base outline because I cannot see in general. So we're gonna do the belt on the eye and then the eye mask. And then make sure we leave that gap over the mouth because that's where the teeth are gonna go. So once you're done with the detail work, I'm gonna go right ahead and swap to this flat eyeshadow brush, and we're just gonna use that to fill in the rest of the mask. Now be careful not to use too much water when you're using these water-based paints because this is exactly what happens to it. It's gonna drip too much. It's okay, it's an easy cleanup, but still, you don't wanna do an extra step like what I had to do. But it just comes right off with water, which is why I like to use this medium for my videos. Alright, moving on. So I like using this eyeshadow brush because it fills in easily and it also picks up the pigment a lot more so it doesn't water it out too much. Once you've filled in all the black, we're gonna move on onto the teeth. Here I'm using my Handy Dandy NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. You could use any white. I prefer this one because it's easy for me to draw on. And I'm just gonna slowly draw the teeth on. I'm gonna make sure to do more of like those diamond shapes, or I guess if you played Zelda, the rupees. That's a good shape to describe it. And we're just gonna do it all along the mouth area. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are all just your skeleton based work. So in all honesty, if you make a mistake, do not worry too much. Now you're just gonna fill them in. You can use the Wolfe Cosmetics, but I prefer this one just because it goes over my lips. That way it won't brush off as easily. I'm gonna go right ahead with my Wolfe Effects, use my detail brush, and then line it with the red. The outside perimeter is gonna be a red color. Here you do want to take your time. It is a little bit more of a detail work. So take your time with this one. I like to go outline the edges first and then color it in afterwards. That way if I make any mistakes, I can easily fix it. Once you've filled everything out, we're now ready for all the fine detail work. Now I'm just gonna go right ahead. This is gonna be that little zipper that goes on a Kaneki's mouth. And now you wanna fill in the rest of the eye patch. Now for the fun stuff, the detail work. I'm gonna go right ahead and use this NYX jumbo pencil that I depotted, the silver one, and we're gonna use that to fill in the little circles on the sides of the mask. Then I'm gonna go right ahead and use this Lancome eyeshadow and apply it on top just to set the makeup a little bit. And now I'm gonna go right ahead, go back to my Wolfe Effects water-based makeup, use the black. With that fine detail brush, I'm gonna start outlining the teeth on the mouth part of the mask. Here you want to work slowly. I start with a horizontal line and then I work vertical, just separating each teeth from each other. And then make sure to just outline the outside. Take your time with this step if you don't have a steady hand. Now we're going to go right ahead with my BH Cosmetics 120 color eyeshadow palette, and we're going to use the blacks and the reds to shade in all the work we just did. This just brings a lot of detail, makes you look a little more realistic, and it just makes everything pop. So this is where you want to go all out. After that's done, I'm just going to go back in with my water-based color, and I'm just going to go over all the patchiness. I want this to be super, super opaque. So I do like to switch back and forth between mediums. Ideally, try not to, but it works. What it is. Alright, now we're going to cover the eye. I try not to use too much water base on the eye area just because I do blink a lot. And for those of you who are sensitive, ideally use an eye primer and an actual eyeliner instead. So here I'm using my NARS eyeliner in black, and we're just going to fill in that eye. There you go, completely blacked out. Now I'm going to take this black eyeshadow and I'm just going to set everything so it doesn't smudge and put it on top of that. And here I'm taking the silver and I'm going to use this to highlight all the areas I want to shine. We want this mask to look leathery. So here I'm just doing the outer corners. That way it gives it a little more dimension. We're doing the outer corners of the belt on the eye just to make it pop. Give it that 3D glow. And then here I am doing a little bit of texture work with the silver again. And we're just going to highlight areas that I feel is going to make this look pop a lot more. If you're not sure where to go, I usually base it on a picture. But then you can also just do it little at a time and just keep adding and adding until you get the look you want. For me, my tip is I try to pick areas where the light is going to hit. And then I roll it with it from there. And for some more added effect, I'm going to go right ahead back with my water-based colors. I'm just going to paint some white in certain areas just to make the details pop even more. I do want this to look realistic, however, this is based off an anime, so I do want it to also have a little bit more of that cartoon feel. So a nice balance between the both, and I will be a happy, happy girl. So here with the white, I'm just highlighting the areas I already went over with the silver. And I'm picking areas where I really, really want that highlight to stand out. You can add as many details as you want. The more detail you have, the better your look is going to be. Don't be afraid to do it. This is your look, so. And now I'm going to go right ahead and draw some black lines on the top of my nose just to connect those two straps together. I forgot to do that in the first step. Woohoo! Detail work done. With the other eye, I'm going to do a little bit of eye primer. Here I'm using the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer in Eden, which is more of a nude-based primer. You could use any primer you want to. We are going to black out this eye. And I'm going to use these flesh tone colors right here. Once again from my BH Cosmetics palette. And then we're going to blend that all out with my trusty blending brush. And we're just going to do the darker colors on the outer corner of my eye. So we have more of like kind of like a V shape. And I'm going to go right ahead with that same NARS eyeliner, gel eyeliner pencil I used on the other eye. And we're going to go right ahead and do a wing. And then I'm taking my NYX jumbo pencil in Milk again, lining that waterline to make my eye pop. And then we're just going to go ahead, take a clean smudge brush, and we're just going to smudge out that liner. Here I want to define it a little more, so I'm just going to go back in with that eyeliner, and I'm going to start drawing in lashes at the bottom. You can also use falsies for these. I prefer not to, just because it's preference. I don't like using falsies for the majority of my looks. However, if you feel that it's going to be easier for you, go right ahead. Now I'm going to go ahead with my Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade. This one is in the color Ebony, and I am just going to do a power brow. The world is your oyster, my friends. And then I highlight a little bit of the brow bone. Now for the last final touches, I just go right ahead, take a little bit of that taupey brown color, use an eyeshadow brush, and I just kind of line the edges of the mask just to give it a look of a little bit more shadow and depth. This step is totally optional, but I like to add it. I like to add the fine details. And then for the final step, I just go right ahead on the neck. This part's optional, especially if you're wearing a turtleneck or a hoodie. You're just going to go right ahead and paint your neck black. And that's the final look. So here's the final look. I did use one of my wigs from Rockstar Wigs, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and this look. If you liked it, definitely give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel to see more videos, and let me know what look you would like me to do for the next video. Until next time, I will see you. Thank you for watching.